Hello again, and welcome to episode 152 of SDGC for Thursday, June 20th. If you're not aware, Super Deformed Gamescast meets right here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do a whole bunch of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and television, community game streaming, a mental health support show, and a bi-weekly morning show every other Friday. I got it this time. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home. And if not, hey, feel free to stick around and maybe throw us a subscription. Every single podcast is archived the next day on our YouTube channel for those who like to watch. And you can find us on all major podcast services for those who like to listen. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm especially excited about podcasting tonight because, hold on a minute. Is our audio screwed up? Okay, there we go. Audio should be fixed now. So everybody else say something real quick. Just want to make sure. There we go. Yeah, we're good. Hello. Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. That was weird. Blaine Anderson in chat says everyone's volume aside from John seems kind of low because
I think it's just that John's is very loud.
It's possible, but no, people in chat are saying it's.
I know how to yell really loud if you need me to.
Do it. No, Reb, do it. Go for it. Show us how loud you can yell.
No, I want to be nice to Zach today.
Damn it.
Thank you. Aww. I want people to think about me more often, so thanks, Reb.
You're welcome, Zach.
We actually have Matt Piscatella is back on the podcast tonight. Matt, it's our old NPD pal.
I know we've been doing this for like 3 years now or something, haven't we?
You've been like, it's been a long time. Like I would actually, Matt, it's been at least 2 years. It's been a couple years. Oh, by the way, real quick, shout out to Puppet Salt 2 in chat. John's beard cleans up nice. Flattery will get you far on this podcast.
If the rest of you think that if you can just compliment John in Twitch and get shouted out by him and interrupt our conversation every 2 minutes, think again.
You absolutely can.
No.
That's almost a guarantee. Absolutely.
Fucking A.
Can I just say that if SDGC was a house, we would be Matt's like lakeside cottage at this point. He comes here once a month on the weekend, and it's a nice sunny time, and then
Yeah, the rest of the time I VRBO it. It's all good.
Yeah.
And then we're all drunk, and John tries to do a stunt into the lake, and
I do, and I probably end up drowning, and nobody bothers to save me. That's just another Thursday on STGC. But yes, flattery in the chat will get you a shout out. Absolutely. Don't listen to what the rest of these heathens say.
Well, you introduced Matt Piscatella as our resident NPD pal. You did not introduce him, I noticed, as resident Tom Nook stan.
Is he a Tom Nook stan?
He's a Tom Nook stan.
Are you a Tom Nook stan?
Yeah. Tom Nook is good.
What's wrong with Tom Nook? He's a responsible landlord.
I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
He drags you to a deserted island in the new game and forces you to pay him money to live there.
There's a fucking so warning to everybody on the podcast and everybody in chat. There's a fucking gnat that has been in this room for 3 days now. The motherfucker escapes my grasp every single time, but I'm Jesus fucking Christ. If you see me going like this through the whole podcast, you're trying to grab him, that's me trying to kill this motherfucker. So I'm not having a fit.
I haven't been on this podcast in like 3 weeks, and when I come back, it's just John seemingly just yelling into the mic about bugs in his basement.
So it's just another Thursday then.
We've come so far.
Before we move on to actual topics, I just want to say hi to Jeff. I just missed Jeff.
Jeff, I missed you too.
Hi, Jeff.
I missed everyone, but especially I missed Zach.
Oh,
and I love the new glasses.
Oh,
thank you.
The new glasses do look fly, man. They look dope. You're a handsome lad, Zach.
Jeff.
We're all so good looking. Finn.
This is for Piscatella.
Saki on the mic. Hell yeah.
All right, Saki.
Is Saki actually on the mic? Is Saki actually? Good. Oh, why don't you do that every Thursday? Why is this new?
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Brandon changed his avatar. Holy shit!
I did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He did not.
He did. Yeah, it's Cloud.
No, that's Banana Factory.
Oh, that's Banana. No, it's not. That's fucking. That's fucking Brandon.
Hello, welcome to SDGC.
We don't know what's going.
This is actually a
podcast at some
Alright,
point tonight.
just-
This is actually a video game podcast. Zach, why don't you take control of this fucking dumpster fire?
Yeah. So Matt, you're here. You're here to talk about NPD, but before we get into it, I want you to give people a verdict on Orange Vanilla Coke. Matt, where do you fall, bud?
Zach.
Bro,
This is a topic.
Listen, if I needed to polish or varnish anything, I might use it. If I hated my friends, I might give that to them. No.
Okay. All right. More. All right. No, that's fine. Fine. I guess we'll talk about NPD then. Let's talk about video games.
I want to
then.
talk about video games on our video game podcast.
God, what the fuck is a video game?
Listen, coming out of E3, there's been a lot of like.
question because she's an actual video game journalist.
I mean, video game journalists hate video games, man.
Everybody
Right?
knows
We
this.
hate them so much.
Everybody knows this.
We do it because of the money. You
What?
know.
I know Reb is constantly bragging about how much she makes. You guys should see the you should
To
see the
write about
SDGC
stupid
DM.
video games,
Loaded
which I
games
hate.
journalists. Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
Fucking games journalists.
Matt, tell us
Okay.
about NPD.
Matt.
Sales were down last month 11%. The same games that were leading in April led in May again for Mortal Kombat and Days Gone. The Switch is up a lot. Everything else is down a lot. And if it wasn't for the Switch, I would be Debbie Downer every month right now because Switch is doing so much work. So it's kind of a weird time. You know, we're getting near the end of PS4, Xbox One's life cycle. We have the new gen boxes announced. Stuff's coming. So, you know, it's that time in every cycle where things start to slow down. Fortunately, we have Switch, which is doing exceptionally well. Leading hardware platform. Nintendo is the leading software publisher. And it's doing a lot of work in helping try to offset some of those other declines that we're seeing. And plus, like, we just have the lightest slate this year, especially when you compare it to last year, like with games like God of War showing up.
Yeah.
Like for May of 2019, it was the lowest dollar sales month for a May for new release games since 1998.
Whoa, that's
So,
fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So we're having,
Yeah.
my dog's got her toy. So we're having like a real lull right now. And you know what? This is probably going to last through the summer because the slate's pretty light.
What the fuck?
No, please don't take it away from it's pure. It's pure. We need this.
That's the sound of video game sales going down.
Yeah.
I need a pro price drop so I can get one for FF7. But I still have a base PS.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, are we ever gonna see another significant price drop for these boxes? Is this holiday kind of the right time to try and get some, I don't know, last minute sales out of them before next gen hits?
You'll probably see some discounting. I think that the price sensitivities are such that doing deep discounts isn't really going to result in more profitable sales. The install bases are really strong. So I don't know if we'll see those deep discounts. We might see, you know, some movement. We always see good holiday movement like PS4 at $199 last year, Xbox One heavily discounted. We'll still see some of that, but I don't think we're gonna get like $139 or $99 or anything crazy like that.
So I've got a question, Matt. As you very accurately stated, there's kind of a dearth of software this year because, you know, and that's to be expected. We are getting close to the end of the gen. As far as Switch goes, though, like, would you agree that the rest of the year is looking like from a software perspective? I mean, they've clearly, in my opinion, got the strongest lineup of first-party software anyway this year. What do you expect to be the top sellers for the rest of the year?
Yeah, you know what? I just published that list pretty recently. I have Call of Duty at number one, of course. It's like the most obvious thing to put on the top of a bestsellers list in a year where Rockstar doesn't have a game coming out. After that, I've got there's my list. I've got NBA 2K20 coming in for number two for the year. and then Madden at NFL 20 at number 3. So
No
the top
surprises
3,
there.
yeah, no surprises. Number 4, I have Borderlands 3.
Interesting.
The strong franchise, strong tracking, despite some of the
Shall we say
zaniness,
negative press?
the challenges in some areas. Number 5, I have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We'll see how that goes.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
At 6, Mortal Kombat 11, which has shown great
The
legs
way
so far.
that game has performed, Matt, has just I think probably blown everybody's expectations out of the water, right?
I think it would have to. I mean, the month 2 sales of MK11 were more or almost double any other month 2 for the franchise. So usually Mortal Kombat is far more heavily weighted in the launch period. This time around, maybe it's the lighter slate, maybe it's the game design, but it's having sustained success, which is good to see.
It was funny to watch it overtake Kingdom Hearts. Like Kingdom Hearts, I mentioned that to you on Twitter. Like it's a weird software lineup, and it's really emblematic of the fact that there's just been nothing really this year. Like Kingdom Hearts was for what, January, February,
for a few months,
and March. Like for three months, it topped the software sales charts for year to date.
Yeah,
even though
last month as well. Yeah,
even though like it was on top last month too for May. Yeah. Well, wait.
April.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
It was on there for like 3 or 4 months in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
And but it was on the top of the year to date charts even after it had fallen out of the top 20 for that month. So like Kingdom Hearts did so well in its initial like 2 months or so that nothing could touch it for several months after.
I had no idea that franchise was so popular. I thought there was just a small group of weirdos that just love those games. And
Hey.
I did not see this coming.
Hey, jeez.
Its launch month sales were very, very strong. Actually, I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. It is right now the golden age of JRPGs in the U.S. market.
E3, man, was just stuffed with them.
I'm so here for it. I'm so fucking here for it. It's so good. I feel like it's 1997 again.
It really is.
Yeah, well,
there was I counted 6 threads about Final Fantasy VII on the front page of Resetter today.
It feels like I'm in fucking high school again, Brandon. I love it.
Yeah, that's 1998 game facts. Like,
unfucking believable, dude. Yeah. I'm here for every bit of it.
The other thing I noticed, Matt, that you had, and this was from your predictions for the full year, you had Death Stranding in at number 8, and like the rest of the things on here, I think everything else on here is something for which you can look back and say that you have some kind of past data to kind of indicate to you how well this is going to do, right? Like NBA 2K, we all know what that's like. Call of Duty, Borderlands, Star Wars, maybe a little more finicky, but you still kind of have an idea of how Star Wars does and how EA stuff does. But Death Stranding is like a totally, it feels like a wild card to me. Why at 8?
So it is a wild card, and a couple reasons for that. So last year I had Marvel Spider-Man at number 10, and it ended up being at number 7. I underestimated the power of the Sony marketing machine. I underestimated how good a game Marvel Spider-Man was going to be, and I underestimated a little bit the PS4 owner base's penchant for buying exclusives. Death Stranding is the big PS4 exclusive this year. There's going to be a lot of money thrown at it in terms of the marketing, and like with what we're seeing right now, if a game is going to surprise and jump into this top 10, I'm guessing it's this. But every once in a while, you gotta throw like a wild card in there just to make it interesting. And so I'm placing my bet here, thinking that without a bunch of other big PS4 exclusives in the holiday period, this will take some of that focus that would otherwise be spread across a number of titles.
Yeah, it's such a weird game, and it's had such a weird marketing cycle too.
I don't know what the game is.
Is it a game?
It's a movie. It's a 4-hour cutscene.
Don't fucking know.
That's exactly what it is.
Sometimes you die hard, man. All right, that's just.
I actually have another question for Matt. With Super Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem 3 Kingdoms releasing within, I think, almost exactly a month of each other. How do you see?
I mean, if Imran wants to talk Final Fantasy VII, by all means.
Yeah, please.
I've turned into a walking Final Fantasy VII encyclopedia since E3. Like I have watched every video on YouTube. It's ridiculous.
Brandon
I
is
can't think about anything else.
Brandon is digging into the fuck it. Imran and Chad is encouraging
You
more
know what
Final
I'm going to
Fantasy
do when the
VII talk.
podcast is over?
Stop encouraging them.
I'm going to
No,
watch
we're
Tim
done.
Rogers' entire like retranslation series.
I will
We're-
always talk about Final Fantasy, but I do. Oh, I almost got that motherfucker. I do want to ask Matt.
Damn, dude,
How
by the end of the show, you'll have it.
I fucking hope so, man, because I don't want anyway. Matt, I'm very frustrated right now. Matt, with Super Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem releasing, how do you see those sales, especially for Super Mario Maker 2? How do you see them holding up to the originals? So I feel like there's been a lot of hype and anticipation for Mario Maker, but not as much for Fire Emblem.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna compare like a Switch game to a Wii U game, the Switch game will outsell the Wii U game by a factor, no matter what it is. Comparing Switch to 3DS, it's a little bit different, right? So Pokemon Let's Go launched last year, and it sold less than I thought it would, going from 3DS to Switch. But Let's Go wasn't a full-bore RPG, so we'll have to see how Pokemon Sword and Shield do. I've got Super Mario Maker 2 coming as the number 10 best-selling game of the year. It's kind of a lean-in as well. I'm assuming that Switch is going to remain very hot. That Switch will be the video game holiday gift.
Especially with
if we get
Pokemon
that-
and yeah.
And
we
the
get that
rumors of a
rumored
tiny
version.
Switch.
Yeah, if that one comes out, you
Baby
really do
Switch.
some things.
I
Yeah.
still
I'm gonna be really upset because this is what I predict is going to happen. And this is, again, I always have to say this, I feel like, because I actually write in the industry. I don't know anything. I have no idea what's going to happen. They're gonna come out with a tiny Switch, right? Like, and it's gonna be great. And they're gonna do the same thing they did with the 3DS, which is they're gonna come out with a very boring, like, gray model, and then
Yeah.
like maybe a red or a blue model, whatever. And then I'm going to have my regular Switch, which is great, and my normal Joy-Cons. And then in a year, they're going to come out with another tiny Switch, and it's going to have like a cute little Isabelle on it, or like a Pikachu. And they're going to keep coming out with more and more cute ones. And I'm not going to buy any of them because I already have a Switch, and I can't keep buying $100 consoles just because they're cuter than the one I currently own. But I'm going to be really upset because
you
if they
can.
You will.
No, I can't. No, I did not. I did not with the 3DS. I've only ever owned boring 3DSs, and I'm so upset about it. But it's like, it's so frustrating, right? Because I just wish they had come out with a cute Isabelle one to begin with, so I could have to settle for putting stickers on it.
I will say, of course, the Tom Nook stands are like, yeah, why not buy another one? Sure.
Oh, Matt and Finn.
I didn't even think about that.
First of all, in no way, shape, or form am I ever a Tom Nook stan.
Oh, thank you. Good.
Because that would involve me being an Animal Crossing stan.
Oh.
I fucking knew that was coming too.
I can't believe you walked into that.
I saw that
know.
one coming a mile
I know
away.
his feelings on Animal Crossing.
I saw that one coming
All
a mile
I have a
away.
question for Maddie P.
Fire away.
I know Pokemon is always like a weird thing because they never count as one release. They're split between two. So my question is twofold. Sometimes when they combine them, it shifts the list. Would that change your positioning if they were added up as one unit? And do you think Nintendo is going to do the obvious and do a Pokemon Sword Shield special edition Switch this year?
So funny you asked that question. Another smart person on Twitter asked me that question last week. Reb asked the same question. Yeah, I think if they were combined, yeah, it's probably
Absolutely
top
did.
5.
Of course, it was Reb.
I care about Pokemon.
It's probably top 5 or 6 if they're combined, at least in the projections. So we'll have to see. Like, if they wanted us to combine them in the rankings, we would. But they're listed as different games. What are you going to do? And if they don't come out with a special edition Switch for those games, I think that would be weird. I'd be more surprised if they didn't than if they did, because I mean, Nintendo's been doing this very strategy for 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
the things they do aren't surprises. So you should be able to kind of plan out what they might come out with on a calendar, just because they've already done it with 3DS and they've done it, with NDS and going all the way back to GBA.
Their Pokemon releases for like the last 3-4 years, maybe even longer than that, have been the exact same week of November every damn year. I don't want to get into this topic tonight, but I had multiple people in my mentions when I was talking about the Pokemon National Dex thing say, well, they could just delay the game and we would all be fine with it. I'm like, Nintendo, nobody is going to delay Pokemon. You can have other arguments about this, but nobody is ever going to delay Pokemon.
Hold on, breaking news. The National Weather Service in Kansas City tweeted out, "We honestly have no explanation for the floating objects over Kansas City." I'm just
okay, John. So Matt, I have a question for you. Just about I mean, coming out of E3, I think a big story. And I know it isn't exactly tied to NPD stuff, but a big story is about how Game Pass is moving to PC and what that's bringing with it. And it was never going to be a top 10 seller, but looking at games like Outer Worlds, which now instead of having to pay $60 for, I can pay $15 and I can just play that game when it comes out on 2 of the 3 platforms it's launching. How do you start gauging success for a game like that for consumer market if 2/3 of the platforms the players can play it for $15 and it's never tracked as a single sale?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? I mean, those are the questions that we're all asking. And the questions that I imagine they're even asking internally at Microsoft. I mean, this is the coming up of subscription services like this is fundamentally changing how this market works, and I don't think anyone truly understands the long-term implications of that. And how do you define success? I think in my conversations with Microsoft, it's all about engagement. It's all about how many users for how long. Talking about sales figures is secondary or tertiary to engagement. And perhaps that's the new language, right? Sony's also talking about engagement now, and Nintendo isn't quite so much, but they're even throwing that out a little bit. So I think in entertainment as a whole, that 24-hour clock people see as being finite, whereas dollars are a little less finite.
Sure.
So even if you talk to a Netflix, they're always talking about how many hours people are watching Netflix, not how much they're spending. And maybe that's the way we move. I don't know, but right now it's player count that people are looking at. Of course, I'd sure like it if they announced more details around those player counts, but it is what it is.
I think where people are anxious is, I think the engagement and stuff like that is great for Microsoft and maybe even for the devs, depending on the game. But I think the anxiety comes from, if you have a small or medium studio that makes a game and it goes on Game Pass, like, maybe it does great for Microsoft's Game Pass service, but like, what are the devs actually seeing? Like, what does this do to the value of games? What does the revenue coming in to the actual studios making the games look like? Like, I don't know all the mechanics of. I know they're compensated for being on these services, but is it really the same as having a smash success game that moves 5 million units over the course of a few years? Like, I don't know. It's like you said, it's an unknown, but I'm a little concerned about how that's going to go.
Right.
Sure. And that's the bet, right? Like when you sign a deal, any deal for distribution, you're making a bet that you've sized your market appropriately. And you do the math and you say, okay, based on our estimates, we're going to sell this much over this long with this run rate. And we're going to come out at the end with this number of dollars. And here's this other opportunity. And it's offering this, that, and the other a combination of dollars and services. And you say, okay, well, maybe we don't make as much with this deal, but it's guaranteed. So it's all a risk reward calculation and every deal is different. There is a lot of talk out there. Like Rami in particular, talking about the race to the bottom in indie games in particular. And that's a real concern. Like if you're an indie developer and you're trying to sell your game, but your competition are the games included with the subscription service, like that makes your battleground a lot more difficult, right? So like I share those concerns. I just don't know if anyone knows how it's all going to play out. Like it's all changing right now,
Yeah.
Hey, Real quick, just a quick shout out to Cam Koenig, who just subscribed at Tier 1 for 2 months. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of answer what Jeff's saying and kind of piggyback off of like what Matt was talking about, like some of the details are really sparse to like a frustrating degree. But like I don't know if we don't get it for every game, but I remember Microsoft did like share details of that when State of Decay, which is a pretty middling game, came to Game Pass. It actually increased its physical, or not physical sales, but its sales of its copies, and ended up making the NPD charts. It was like #1 game of May last year, I think, despite being in Game Pass. But these smaller tiered games, it's really hard to know what that payout ends up looking like. You know, like a game like Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds that came out last month has had a lot of coverage, and so people would play that game naturally. But a game like Void Bastards that came out right afterward also didn't get a lot of coverage, and like maybe it feels like it's such a risk reward right now, and I'm so fascinated to see if we have some developers anonymously share stories with folks about what that model looks like. I just like, I don't always want to beg people to leak stuff to press, but I kind of want to know how this model works and if people are being fairly compensated for their work and all of that. It's fascinating to see how that model is going.
I imagine one of the best is getting the marketing push of their game. In part of reel of indie games is always, at least for me, to discover what's upcoming.
Yeah,
being on their mixer shows will be whatever they call their Inside Xbox.
Sure,
it doesn't hurt on that regard.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I just want to point out real quick.
You're right. Oh,
no, Matt, please go ahead.
Oh, just one bit. Like, you're absolutely right. With State of Decay and even Forza Horizon, the placement in Game Pass, I think, or Sea of Thieves as well, I believe positively impacted sell-through of copies because of that viral effect of people playing the game and telling their friends to buy. I think what might change is that at the initial launch of Game Pass, if someone had Game Pass and they got Sea of Thieves and they said, hey guys, go buy Sea of Thieves so we can play together, I'm wondering if over time that pitch becomes, hey guys, subscribe to Game Pass so we can play this game together.
Yeah.
And so perhaps that positive impact we saw from Game Pass on sell-through, maybe that changes over time. Like right now it's been very positive, but maybe it won't always be.
Right. People will stop making redundant purchases where like maybe they're a subscriber and they bought the game or whatever. Yeah. Or yeah. No, it's such a weird model, and I'm fascinated to see what that breakdown is. Not that Microsoft will ever willingly hand it to us what their model is. John, what do you got?
Unfortunately, the aliens are actually balloons, which is super fucking boring and stupid.
That sounds about right.
That's
Sorry,
actually,
everybody. We're just Kansas City.
That's actually like Kansas City almost got famous, Reb. Like you guys were almost ground zero for the invasion.
Off. We already have famous barbecue and meat. So what more do you need?
Whoa, there is no need for that kind of hostility, Reb. No
we do
need
this
at
every
all.
podcast, John.
No need at all, Reb. And every Thursday I tell you, Reb, there's no need for this hostility for
and
Game
every
Dad.
Thursday I tell you how much I love you.
I know I love you too. All right.
I will still never get over the fact that there's 2 Kansas cities and one of them is not in Kansas.
It's one Kansas City.
Wait,
it's a single Kansas City.
What?
It's just on the state line.
Okay,
yeah,
I was
we're one
told that
city.
there's another Kansas City. There's only one Kansas City?
Well, it's one city, but it's
okay.
divided into Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, but it's all one city. Like, we had a mayoral election earlier this week, and we all voted for the same mayor.
Well, also, Jeff, consider this. If you subscribe to the parallel universe theory, there are infinite Kansas cities. So really,
John,
we're not.
I'm throwing it out there.
There's a street running through the city called State Line Road. I live
that's dope.
I live close enough to it that I drive past it regularly, and if I have my GPS on, it goes, "Welcome to Kansas. Welcome to Missouri." Constantly.
Shouts out to Reb desperately trying to get doxxed tonight.
There are a lot of places along State Line Road.
I know.
I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you. John, do we have real topics tonight? What are we talking about, bud?
NPD was the real topic.
Oh yeah.
I don't have any other real topics.
What's next, John?
That can't be.
Wait.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. NPD can't be the only real topic we have.
We said
Before we shift away from NPD.
Yes.
Finn, do you have something smart to say? Because none of the rest of us do.
Let's talk.
First of all, you know that's not true. I just have a question for Matt.
All right, last one.
What you think would be the top 10 to actual people? If we had to just narrow down the focus to Matt Piscatella, in your opinion, be the best game of 2019 at this point, at this juncture, what's the number one?
What's your
selling
favorite game that's come out this year?
Yeah, Finn, you really struggled with that one, man. Just ask him what his favorite game is this
He
year.
got it out.
I don't want his favorite game. I mean, actually, I do. What's your favorite game so far?
Well, okay, so the game I'm most excited about is Fall Guys. Have you guys seen this thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
Devolver's bizarre.
Please do.
Battle Royale, right?
You-
Isn't it technically?
no, it's basically like 1 versus 100, except
It's like
as
it's a Japanese game show with 100 jelly bean people going through obstacle courses, and it looks
Okay.
so damn fun. I
Hell
can't
yeah.
wait.
That sounds great.
Zach is
what's it
fucking
called again?
in. I can
I
tell
need
you
to see
right
a
now.
trailer. Yeah, what's it called?
100. It's called Fall Guys. I'm 100%
Fall
in.
Guys.
All right. Yeah.
People, and then you get pushed through these progressively more difficult, like think Ninja Warrior,
Yeah, that was my first
until
thought. was
one
the Ninja
person
Warrior.
is left.
If memory serves, it was announced during Devolver's E3 thing. Is that right?
was.
Yeah.
The
And then when
Devolver
something-
Direct.
And when things come out of Devolver, I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not.
The Devolver
I'm
Direct was
so-
amazing. The first half of it was mocking Nintendo Directs, and it was very well done. And then it got weird for about 10 minutes, like
Over.
real fucking weird and spooky. And then it seemed to end, like it rolled credits, and then it went to a stream, like what appeared to be a pre E3 or a post E3 stream of a bunch of people like in a room, like playing games and talking about the conferences or whatever. Like we've all seen those, but it was still Devolver, and so it was just a giant farce. But even though one dude was wearing like a Devolver shirt and everything was just profoundly stupid, about half of the Twitch chat was like, wait, who is this? Is this still Devolver? What is this? I think this is a real thing. Whose pre-E3 stream is this? You morons, it's Devolver. It didn't change. It's still stupid.
Tell is
It was
the
great.
only other one that appreciates the Devolver conferences on the same level as I do.
I
All right.
love
All right, let's move on to some questions. Because I think that was our other big thing tonight. And Matt, by the way, thank you for the always helpful, always interesting. I don't care what you say, Matt. The always interesting NPD rundown. It's even if it's a boring month, it's always interesting to me.
You're so
Um,
great. We're so happy you're here.
Matt is fucking great,
That's
and Matt
very
gets to be here for some ridiculous questions that we got on
Good.
Twitter. So
Let's go.
I actually so.
Sometimes.
I asked. I've been asking all day for questions on Twitter for the podcast tonight. And we got some really good ones. We got a lot of them. We're gonna try to get through as many as we can. And we've definitely got enough to fill an hour because we got some really great questions. And if you have a question in chat, throw it out. And if we get to it, we will. If we don't, I mean, we're gonna do our best. Jeff, you've got everything queued up and ready to go, right?
I do, yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and kick us off? This can be fun.
All right. Let's see here. There was man, they're all so good. Okay.
You don't have to go in order. Pick one. You don't have to go in order.
Okay, all right. Here's a really good one. What classic game is stuck on an old platform that you wish you could play on a modern console?
Ooh.
Wait,
There's
wait,
a
wait,
lot.
wait,
Okay, hold on.
Question,
Zach's gonna quarterback this.
Is
Okay.
does this mean that we get to like it's remastered with modern graphics, or is it like
No.
it looks the same? You can just play it with a modern controller.
Yeah,
or
like
keyboard or
for
whatever?
example, like Metal Gear Solid 4. Like I just
Okay.
want to fucking play that on my PS4 with my DualShock 4 as
Gotcha.
is, no upres, nothing. Like just what can you literally not play on a current gen console or PC?
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to Reb because Reb is dancing, so I think that Reb gets to answer first, and then Finn.
Guess what soundtrack I just turned on, guys?
I already know what it is.
What do you know? What do you think it is?
It's got to be Chrono Trigger.
Absolutely not. Wario, I can play that on my DS. Wario Land
That's
4,
not
guys!
current gen.
I want to play I can play that on, I think, my Wii U, right? Like, I think it was on
Hold on,
Virtual
did
Console.
you say Wario Land 4?
Wario Land 4.
Ooh, that's a good
Game,
choice.
It's a Game Boy Advance
Yeah,
platformer.
I own it.
love it with all my heart. It's so good and weird. I want that on the Switch. I want to play that on the Switch.
That's
There's
a
not
really
a
good
single
one.
Wario game on Switch, is there?
Not one.
No.
That's a
Not
crime.
Oh my god.
Not
Wario Land,
yet.
if you have never played Wario Land 4, it is the dumbest fucking game. It's so good. It's a platformer starring Wario. It's way better than like any of the other Wario games. He's like, it's so well designed, and the music, like put on the soundtrack. It's so weird and so good. I played the shit out of this game as a kid. I love it.
Quick question, and then Finn. But in Smash, all I know about Wario is he farts and rides a motorcycle. Does he fart and ride a motorcycle in Wario Land 4?
Okay, I don't really remember. I don't think he does either of those things. He eats so he can like eat apples and get really really heavy and bust through boulders. He can kind of like tackle things to break rocks to the side. He can get stung by a bee and his cheeks get inflated and he floats up into the air. I think he can get frozen and slide along the ground. If he's on fire, he runs around and can set things on fire. There's a whole bunch of different things he can do. Like there's all these different powers and environmental things that he can interact with. I'll keep this really short. The premise of every level is that you come in and you get basically to the end, and when you hit the end of the level, there's a little timer, and you hit it. And when you hit it, you have a time limit, and in that time limit, you have to race back to the beginning of the level and escape. And at first, it's easy, like you just run back. But as the game goes on, some of the levels, when you hit the timer, it changes the layout of the level. So you'll maybe only do half the level, hit the timer, and then have to do the second half racing back. It's the design is incredible. The music, so play Wario Land 4, guys. It's real
It's
good.
fucking fantastic.
It's so good. John just played it recently.
Oh,
Finn,
I fucking love that game.
Finn, what is your game, bud?
So it recently just came into the news because people are one step closer to making this a reality. PC games ever made and one of the greatest games most people have never played. If you like the point and click genre, standard.
You're cutting in and out real bad, buddy.
Yeah,
Is he cutting out, or is he just messing with us?
No.
that would be very funny.
Yeah.
It almost sounded like it, to be dramatic.
I don't know.
Oh, Finn. Okay,
Finn?
get it out for me, bud.
Nobody hear me.
You're coming
wait.
You're coming in and out really
Hold on.
bad.
Come back.
Let's move
Come
on.
back to
Hold on.
Finn.
We'll come back to
Jeff?
Finn. We'll
Jeff?
come back to Finn.
Wait, did he say Blade Runner?
He cut out. That seems.
Yeah,
like he was
we're gonna
kinda
come back to
confused.
Finn. Yeah, we're gonna come back to Finn.
If he
Jeff?
said Blade Runner, he just saved me another choice. 'Cause that was exactly what I was gonna say.
Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? Skip me. I'm
go.
not prepared.
Well, all right. Let me.
John,
fucking talk
John,
about
you
Blade
cannot say
Runner then.
Metroid Prime trilogy.
No, that's not it. That's not mine.
Okay, all
At
right.
all, actually. At all.
That's coming to Switch anyway, guys. It's going to be announced in the next Nintendo Direct.
Wow.
Hey, it's fucking coming, okay? It's fucking coming. All right.
Let me just
It's
pull back
fucking
the curtain
coming.
so people. Let me just pull back the curtain, and so every time we're like, you know how Nintendo rumors get, where like the week before a Direct is announced, we all know it's coming. Every time John's like, I mean, the game's done. It's coming. You
It
guys,
is
just
done.
wait."
He's like,
This
I
is
heard
the-
it's gonna be there. This is the one. I
It is
heard."
done.
Like, this has been like the last.
I have a
18
source
months.
that told me.
It's been delicious.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay. I'm glad I'm here for
Who
your
let
fucking
me watch
amusement.
The man lose?
I'm glad. I'm glad that everybody takes fucking joy out of my continual suffering. I'm glad that I'm here to amuse everybody. But Metroid Prime Trilogy is a fucking reality on Switch. It's already done, and it's coming.
Okay.
It's fucking anyway.
Okay, John.
My game is not Metroid Prime Trilogy. My game, if I could bring it to modern day consoles right now, everybody is expecting me to say Final Fantasy VI, which is true. But I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to say Final Fantasy Tactics: War of the Lions on PSP.
Final Fantasy VI is already on modern consoles anyway.
Well,
That's a good one.
yeah, but yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions is the definitive version of an amazing game. If you haven't played the War of the Lions version on PSP, I strongly recommend you can download it on Vita if you have a Vita. And it is fucking outstanding. It's like, with the new translation, it is like playing Game of Thrones. I mean, the story is deeply political, and there's a lot of twists and turns, and a lot of, it is incredibly good. Fucking awesome game. If I could pick one, it would be War of the Lions. That's my game. Bring it, Square. Please. That game doesn't get enough fucking love.
Brandon and then Matt. Brandon, what's your game, bud?
Hold on, John. Not to pivot to actual news, but you saw the kind of thing that was talked about in a couple interviews. One was ours, and then Game Informer did one as well that had a little bit different details in it. But they were talking to Square Enix, and they were saying that this is not like an announcement or anything, but they're looking into the idea of a subscription service
I
for
heard
Square
that.
Enix games, and they were looking into putting a lot of. They want to make all of their classic titles available, like all of them. Sometimes they can't find the game. That was what Game Informer
Which
had,
is
which I thought
fucking
was
ridiculous.
really funny. We just can't find it. Like, I mean, great, that's hilarious. But like they want to bring all their classic titles to a place where other people can play them. So that may
I'd
actually
love
get to
that.
be a reality.
Yeah, hey, why not? Yeah, at this point I'll fucking take what I can get from Square Enix. Zach, back to you, bud.
Yeah, Brandon, what was your game?
So I'm in solidarity with Finn on Blade Runner, the Westwood PC point and click from '97. I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was so good. I played it. I got it as like a Christmas present for my grandfather before I ever even saw the movie. I was like, what, 12 years old? But it's real good. But since he said that, I'll pick another one. And I was gonna say Bangai-O on the Dreamcast from Treasure. There was a DS version. It was like
That is
one
a
that had-
good obscure reference.
That is
Brandon.
yeah.
Deep cut, man.
It's like who's played Bangai-O, but it's a 2D multi-directional. You play a multi-directional shooter. You play like a giant mecha robot and shoots a million missiles at the same time. And big screen. It's all about big screen clearing attacks and lots of explosions. Nice smooth gameplay. Felt like a nice Dreamcasty arcade game.
Sounds like Gunstar Heroes almost, Brandon.
I mean, it's a Treasure game, so it's very
okay.
much,
Well, that makes total sense. Yeah.
very much in the same as like Ikaruga and all that shit.
So this is. Oh, sorry, Brandon. Go ahead and finish.
No, ask a question. It's fine.
No, I was going to say this is good timing. I just I saw this a couple days ago and it didn't really register. But there's a company called Westwood that is making Blade Runner playable again on PC.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
'Cause
have
the only way
a-
to play it is to install it from the
Yeah,
original
so
disc.
the
saw that in
software is
chat.
called ScumVM, which sounds sketchy.
Oh,
Basically,
isn't
it's
that
like
the same thing?
the way I understand it is it's a wrapper, so you still need the original files. So if you were able to procure like the original disc, or like the install files,
I still have the original disc.
yeah, so you could use that, and then what this does is make it playable on a modern OS. So whereas that was built for like Windows 98, this will actually just take those and iron everything out and let you run it on your Windows 10 system.
That's
so
awesome. It was so good. Like,
that's
the
pretty
soundtrack
cool.
was perfectly like recreated from the movie.
And if
But
people are
same,
curious,
same
about
guy who did like Command and
Hold
Conquer.
on a second, Finn. Are you okay? Can you talk, man?
his mic is.
His mic is fried.
So Finn is
It's
telling
gotta
us
be
Finn is telling us that he has the original discs too. But no, this game has actually been like in the news kind of like a couple of times this week. But actually, previously Waypoint Now Vice Games has as an article up explaining exactly how this team is going about working on making Blade Runner playable.
Very
which is-
cool. Like
which is
people
very, very
need
cool.
to play that game. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt,
If
what
you,
is your
if you
game,
like
man?
any of those movies?
Yeah, we need to ask Matt.
Yeah, so it's a game I tried to work on finding a way to make this happen for many years in publishing, but no one lives forever. I would like Kate Archer to live again, and I'd like people to be able to experience that game because that game is great, and it's a damn
Good
shame.
pick.
It's a damn shame it is an IP purgatory because that is a fantastic video game.
Finn, Finn?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can.
Not
I
that
just
bad.
switched the mic. I just switched audio to my webcam, so it might be shitty audio, but
It's
I
not
will
that
take-
bad.
It's passable, man.
yeah,
It's fine.
whatever,
Yeah.
man.
I just want to really talk about Blade Runner real quick because it's such an important game to me, and I'm so excited that we're one step closer to it being a reality that people can experience it. Like, it sucks that you still have to have the games that haven't been on sale for almost 2 decades, but we're one step closer for one of the greatest licensed games and one of the greatest adventure games of all time
Yeah,
to
it
finally
really
be
is.
playable.
Really
It's
is.
so good. I remember my mind being blown when I realized that there was like multiple endings based on your choices.
Yeah,
in the
like
game.
some NPCs will be replicants on a certain playthrough, and then they'll be normal humans on a different one. Very cool.
Yo,
So cool.
that sounds sick as hell.
It is. It
Yeah,
really
it's-
is.
so good. Okay, anyway, please
It has
continue.
like 8 different endings or something like that.
Yep.
Jeff, what
Oh,
do you
man.
got, man?
So I figured it out.
Okay.
This isn't like it's not super ancient, but the 3DS ports of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I just
Ooh, good
really
shout.
got into the
That's-
Zelda
that's
series.
fucking solid.
With Breath of the Wild, I'd always bounced off the games after a couple hours, and I love Breath of the Wild, even though I talk shit about it sometimes because I got frustrated with very specific quirks that it has. I tried to play Ocarina of Time on my 3DS. That system just wasn't for me. The screen was too small. It wasn't comfortable to hold in my hands. Those games were apparently mastered at a much higher resolution. The texture quality is very good. I think they would look perfectly fine on a Nintendo Switch on my TV with a nice, comfy Pro controller. And I would love to sit and play. I mean, Ocarina of Time, one of the greatest games of all time.
Yes, it is.
Revolutionary, just like everyone deserves to be able to play that game without having to track down some kind of 3DS and play it the way that it deserves to be played. So that's my pick.
I bounced real hard off Ocarina of Time back when I played it on my friend's system, and I have never liked that game. Sorry, I hate it. It sucks. But I picked up Majora's Mask
Spicy.
kind of on a whim on my 3DS. I think I had just gotten like the XL or something, and so I went ahead and just grabbed Majora's Mask to see if I liked it, and I loved it. I love Majora's Mask. It's so good on the 3DS. My God, I love it. Hate Ocarina of Time, but Majora's Mask, man.
Oh, hey,
You just ratcheted this podcast up to 11, Reb.
I know. Yeah, that's
It
Red
goes
dropping
back
some
to my
spicy
thing.
takes.
I have a really hard time getting into older games because I didn't really start gaming until the GameCube era. I was a late bloomer, and so anything that has like older, like that's why I hate Final Fantasy VII. I just can't. I can't get into the older mechanics. I can't get past it. So that's the only reason
fair.
why. Majora's Mask has enough of a hook that I could get past it. That's why I like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI. There's enough there that I can get past the clunkiness. But God, I love it.
All right. Hey, by the way, I don't want to linger too long on this question. Zach, have you dropped your game yet?
No.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna say that mine. I would only have this answer because Nintendo so greatly reminded me that this was a thing. I would love to have Super Mario Party 3. I just want Mario Party 3.
That's an interesting choice, Zach.
I just want to play that again. It had really, really good local co-op games. When I was a kid, it came out when I was really young, and so I didn't like the board game part, but I really liked the mini games. And like, I'm sure if I played it today, I wouldn't feel the same way. But I remember being blown away by how fun they managed to make like this really, really simple system work. And I think that like the big contrast here being that I don't think that the most recent Mario Party on Switch is very good, or at least it's not. Well, let me put it this way: it does not have the same control for me as a player with those mini games, and I don't find as much variety and enjoyment out of those mini games. They have a lot of gimmicky They've got a lot of gimmicky motion controls. It just doesn't feel like it's as flexible as it should be. I just love the old school Mario Party. I don't think we're gonna get another one because the past two Mario Party games have been kind of weird. But man, I love that N64 version.
That's a dark horse choice for Zach. I was not expecting Mario Party 3. Interesting.
My roots are on that 64, man.
I like wrenches being thrown into this podcast discussion. I enjoy it. I greatly enjoy it. Jeff, why don't you take it? Oh, by the way, Jeff, who asked that question?
Yeah, so I was going to say, so shout out, that was Two-Headed Giant on Twitter asked that question. So thank you very much. That was a really good topic.
Yeah, shouts
Awesome.
out, man.
Okay, why don't you take us to the next one?
So this one is also from Twitter. This one was from Patty. And I like this question. So I'm going to just expand on it a little bit just to shape it in a good way that we can answer it. So the question was, what game had the biggest emotional impact on each of you personally? For me, it was Journey. It was so sublime. I knew I could never play it again because the first experience was so unique and profoundly beautiful. Doing so again felt like it would just dilute that. So I guess I would say, what game had the biggest emotional impact on you? And it doesn't have to just be because the game itself was emotional. Maybe it was because of a certain time in your life that you played it, or some sort of external meaning or importance that the game has in your heart. What was something that really just is at the core of your being after you played it? I don't know who wants to start. Maybe Matt.
Zach, I'll tell you what. Let's have Zach. Zach, why don't you guide the discussion here and just pick somebody first, and we'll go around the horn.
Yeah, I mean, this one's hard. It can be hard to summon up something that caused you an emotional reaction. Does anybody have one on their head immediately?
I mean, I do.
All right, John, let's start with you, man.
So for mine, I'll just pick the obvious one. Actually, you know what? I'll give two very quick ones. One very quick. One is Final Fantasy VI, simply because the scene with Celeste throwing herself off the cliff and attempting suicide in the very beginning of the World of Ruin really resonated with me as a 14-year-old who was in a really dark place and not happy with his family life. that really showed me, I don't know, it helped me find my inner strength. And so that's one of the many reasons that Final Fantasy VI is such a very special game to me. And the other one is What Remains of Edith Finch, simply because to me, it's a benchmark in narrative in games. I've never really seen a story delivered in the way that Edith Finch did it. And to this day, I still think about that character. I still think about her journey and her family and what happened to them. And for me, it was just like, as far as narrative and games go and story and the way that story's delivered with, the way it emotionally resonates, it was a landmark to me. It was a masterpiece. And I think it's going to be years before there's something that surpasses it for me. So that's mine.
Sure. Reb.
I also have two, but I'll make them quick. One of them I've discussed on the podcast before in different ways, and it's in Celeste. And it's this very specific moment in Celeste in the very last level when you reach, I don't know what marker it is, I think it's in the 20s or something, and there's a little pair of binoculars. And that level is, like, that last level is already just absolutely amazing. Like, that exhilaration of climbing up and getting a little confetti every time you hit a little sign, and you're making it in little increments. And it's just like this amazing feeling. But there's a point where you get these binoculars, and in other areas of the game, when you look through the binoculars, you can see like the whole little area that you're in, and it kind of is there to help you solve the puzzle basically and do the platforming right. But on this one, it's less about doing the platforming right, and you could just keep going up and up and up, and you can look, and if you keep on going up, you can see the flag, and you still have like a little bit to go. Like it's not right there, it's not obvious or easy, but you can see your destination and it's within reach. And that, with just like the music and the feeling of everything you've been through, like it just hit me in this way that has stayed with me for a really long time, because like being able to see a goal in sight and knowing that it's challenging and meaningful to you, but you can make it, like you're capable of it. Like it's just a fucking time, man. Like it's really, really good. And I love that moment, and it'll always stay with me. The other one that I wanted to mention is a couple of years ago, I was playing World of Warcraft really heavily, and I played it with a guild of people who ended up becoming some of my best friends. And at the time, we were raiding Heroic Hellfire Citadel, and we spent like 91 attempts trying to down the final boss on Heroic, and it was so difficult for us, and we worked so hard. And we practiced and we worked together, and we were getting together like 3 nights a week for 3 hours at a time. And it was stupid. It was so much time spent into this, but we got it. And the moment we downed that boss, we all just like you hear those stupid YouTube videos where like everybody does the nerd scream when they kill a boss. My God, we did, because we all felt it. Like it felt so good. We had spent months. There were like 13 bosses in that raid trying to finish it. And we did it, and we did it together. And we all just like yelled and laughed, and some of us were crying, and we were so happy. And then there was a moment where everything dulled down, and one of the guys in our group goes, "It wasn't that bad." And like and that was it. And that was just like this defining moment for us and our friendship. And we've never done anything else like that in that game. We all pretty much quit raiding after that. But it was just this solidifying moment of friendship with people and total strangers from around the world who I've since met in person. And I don't think I'll ever have another moment like quite like that, I think.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that I'm gonna go and I think that my answer is not like when I say emotional, I think like at first in my mind wanted to jump to games that were really sad. But I think like maybe it's recency bias, but I think Outer Wilds is a really, really good game at having an emotional impact. I haven't finished the game yet. It's on Game Pass right now if you haven't played it. And it's just a game about exploration. And it's about understanding species and understanding the galaxy and your place within it, and then accepting your place within it. But one of the things that's so cool about this game is that it has a working universe that follows logic, and everything is kept on a time loop. And so there is a planet that will just naturally be destroyed by asteroids coming down and destroying it. And what's so cool about it is the gravity around this planet and its atmosphere actually change based on what's hitting it and what pieces are falling off. And there's just like all these really, really smart systems at play, and they create this really good sense of not just world building, but it just feels so real in a way that I wasn't expecting. Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds, is just a really surprising, thoughtful, longer than expected indie game right now, and it's really fucking smart, and it just feels strong to me.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that, dude.
Sure.
I guess I'll jump in next.
Please.
Mine is kind of a sad game, but it's The Last Guardian. I was a pretty big fan of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, but they didn't really get me in the gut. But The Last Guardian, I want to be fair to the game. I don't know that it's necessarily a great game mechanically. It doesn't run that well.
Yeah.
It's, as everyone knows, the camera has issues, the controls have issues, but at least for me, I got so sucked into the relationship between the boy and this bird dog, Trico.
I love Trico,
when you,
dude.
when you
that-
say it like that, it sounds so silly.
I know.
But like everything else vanished. I did not even think about the camera. I did not even notice the awful frame rate. All I was
immersed.
focused on was just trying to protect this animal and the bond that grows between them over the course of the game and the places that it takes you, and just the courage that the animal displays in protecting you and vice versa. It just was so powerful, and it got me like so in my core of kind of what it means to care for something, and to put everything on the line to save that and fight for it. It absolutely, especially the end of the game, it just absolutely destroyed me. So like if I had to give it like a numerical score, I'd have to take off all these points for all the problems that the game has. But the core of that experience, I think, absolutely did what it was meant to do for me. So that's always gonna be at the top of my list there.
All right, I'll go next.
Yeah, Brandon, go ahead, man.
I got the first. It's easy to think of something sad like right off the bat. I was thinking like Red Dead Redemption, The Last of Us, Final Fantasy VII, all very moments with their melancholy. But let's go something with like the badass emotion.
Okay, there we go.
Like
I love the badass emotion, Brandon. Fuck yeah.
Metal Gear Rising, dude.
Oh
Like,
shit.
Pretty much all of Metal Gear Rising, but let's say specifically the final boss, like Senator Armstrong.
I played Allstate.
It is the best boss fight ever. I loved every single second of it. As soon as I was done, I played it over again, and then I played it again the next day. Like, I loved every second of that boss fight.
I could have gone pro.
It makes you feel so cool. Like all the dialogue is so good. Raiden's lines are good. Senator Armstrong's lines are amazing.
I just love that Senator Armstrong looks like this accountant who hulked the fuck out.
Yeah,
It's
basically.
just-
He
I
looks
just-
like an accountant.
He does. He looks like an accountant who just like got. Oh, I fucking love it. I love every minute of that game. Good
It's
fucking
amazing.
good
Every
answer.
single second of that fight is perfect. Yeah.
Who hasn't gone? Finn, have
Matt.
you gone? Matt and Finn.
Matt and Finn.
But let our guest go first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt.
absolutely,
Why don't you,
Matt.
man?
All right. So I'm usually more of the shooter sports game thing, so I don't generally get too emotionally invested in games.
What
for
about
some
that
reason.
sick touchdown that one time, Matt? That sick
I
touchdown.
could be dead inside. Yeah. But I think the one game that really stood out to me was Alice Madness Returns, which came out a few years ago, and
Ooh, good one. Yeah.
And the reasons for that is that it does a really great job of using the art in the game to tell this story of this woman's descent into the blurring of her reality and the world in her mind. Alice in Wonderland's all about that, but I think what made this game different is it wasn't just the plot of the story that touched; it was how the art and the music really made that transition apparent, and really helped you feel the emotions they were trying to convey. Because the story in the game is very dark. Like, she wakes up in an asylum thinking that she burned her family alive. So like it starts with this very like intense perspective, and as she goes through her journey, the art changes, the music changes in a way that really touched me and made me think a lot about mental health and where people are in this journey we're all on. So not so badass, but it was very cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
That's
be
really
badass.
good.
Although I do love the badass emotions. I'm not gonna lie.
I wanted to be a little different. Yeah.
The best emotions are the badass ones. Finn, what do you got?
Finn, yeah.
So I'm torn between two. If I go quick, can I just
Yeah,
knock through
go
both
quick,
of them?
man.
Yeah, shout them out quick.
'Cause I've got one sad and then one that's like a really good reason. So the sad one is the first game that ever made me cry as a kid was actually the ending to the RPG, the Super Nintendo RPG Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. Because it was the first time I remember these characters that you got really attached to like die in this really dramatic, sad fashion, and I just was not expecting that.
Did you play Lufia 1 first?
I had not.
Okay, so you
see,
didn't
I
know,
played
right.
Lufia 2
No,
first as well.
I did
yeah.
not.
Okay, that
So,
makes more sense. Because I was like, wait a minute, you know these characters are gonna die.
No, I did not know that.
Okay,
That was
Yeah,
that
I
makes
didn't
more
know
sense.
blindsided by it. It's like going into the Titanic thinking it's just a movie and not based on anything.
I can't wait for the ship to reach its destination and everybody gets off and has a great life.
That part always stuck with me because it's the first time I remember like tears welling up in my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, no, what?
The dialogue is real good there. Yeah.
Right? It really is, especially when it pans to like their child that they just had. And the babysitter was like, don't worry, your parents will be home soon. I'm like, no, they won't. But so that's that one. And then the better one is right after when I first got my job at GameStop, and it was the month of the launch of Halo 2. And I made friends with this guy that I was working with that got hired at the same time as me, and he was a huge Halo fan and would have Halo nights every weekend. And I went with him, and I met all of his friends, and then they became like my core friend group, and all of them were the groomsmen and best man in my wedding. And so like every close friend I have in my real life right now can all be traced back to the never-ending weekends playing Halo 2, which is funny to me because I never particularly cared for Halo 2. It literally was a social outing for me. So playing Halo was how I got to hang out with all my friends, because once you're older and you just kind of start spanning out, those times don't exist anymore. So Halo is how I met all of my like real life friends that I still hang out with to this day.
Very deep, Finn. Very deep indeed.
I know. So
It's
deep.
so deep. So deep. God, it's so fucking deep. Anyway, this is getting
Everybody,
weird.
stop it. No. Did everybody go for this one?
Everybody went, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody
All right.
went. Yeah, we fucking rocked it.
Not gonna
Jeff,
matter.
what's our next question?
Yeah, man, there's so many good ones. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this next one, maybe just like 5 minutes.
Let's go
This
quick.
one's
Yeah.
this should be a
let's do
quick one. I think it's a good group question.
Yeah.
It's not going to require us to go like turn by turn. So this one just came from Glorious War in chat a little bit ago. He asked, what do you think of acquisitions? Do you see an acquisition war coming, or like basically, is Sony going to respond to Microsoft's acquisitions with any of their own? I don't know. My personal take is I don't think so. I think they'll continue investing in their first party studios. They're doing really well. Their exclusives are selling well. They've got their type of game that they make, and they make it, very well. So I don't see them rushing out to buy a bunch of studios. I don't think they need to. But Zach, I don't know if you want to steer that for everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I can. I mean, my first answer will be that I don't see Sony doing it, at least not yet. I think that I think Microsoft is on a very different trajectory right now with the way that they're structuring. They're buying studios so they can stock Game Pass, and Sony's like, our games sell really fucking well, and Days Gone, which was like an otherwise okay game, is like number 2 right now. I mean, sure, you could blame it being a slow season, but like, I don't think they need to. I think Sony games will sell, and they have a good track record. Microsoft is like, we'll keep releasing mediocre games, and we'll keep making big studio buys along the way. But I don't know. Do you guys, Matt, do you see an acquisition coming from Sony?
It's tough to say. Like studios to buy are becoming few and far between,
Yeah.
and they're exceedingly expensive. So, and the ones that are out there, that are still out there, are going to be super expensive. So I don't know. Like if it's going to happen, I wouldn't expect a lot of them, and I would expect just everything having to line up just right for that to happen. There's just too much happening right now in terms of change in the marketplace, a lot of risk, and so I'm not expecting it, but who knows?
Sure.
I have no opinion. So,
Finn, what do you think, man?
About acquisitions?
Yeah, like, do you think we'll see a counter from Sony, or do you think Microsoft is going to have more at their London event in November? Where do you think about?
I think Microsoft has another one on the wings, but I don't think Sony follows suit. I think someone mentioned it in the original question that it was. I think they're going to double down on first party support, but I don't know. Like the gut reaction is that if they would choose someone like Insomniac that has such a close relationship with them for so long. But I honestly don't see it coming.
Matt, what do you think?
Me?
Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't see that happening either. I don't know why Insomniac would sell. They seem very happy with the position they're in. I
Mhm.
mean, if anything, more studios will follow Bungie's lead and try to go indie.
Sure.
Mhm.
Fair enough. John, what do you
Cool.
think, man?
I have no opinion on the matter.
Yeah, John.
I'm not smart
John
enough for
is,
this one. Yeah, I can see the floor.
You know your strengths though, and that's
I do.
something to
Yeah,
respect.
I
Yeah.
have no fucking idea. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Can I just say the one thing that's it was a rumor for a while and then it didn't end up coming true, but one thing that always made sense to me is I was surprised Microsoft, and who knows, deals sometimes fall through. IO Interactive has really struggled with Hitman on its own, and it struggled with WB, it struggled with Square before it.
Mhm.
The way they want to stagger content feels like it lines up with Game Pass. I'm surprised that never happened because that would be one
That's a
where I
good
could
point.
release. Yeah, I could see that for both. That would be beneficial for both people. But
I love Hitman 2. That did not do well. I'm worried about
I
them.
know,
It really
which is
didn't,
which
yeah.
is really what made me. Yeah, I don't know. Does
Um,
anybody else have anything before we go to a next topic?
Yeah, let's go and jump to the next question.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Again, this will probably be another quick one, but this one's kind of fun. So this one came from Blaine Anderson, who I think's hanging out in chat as well. He asked, "What's the one game you've bought the most times on one or more multiple
I like
platforms?"
this one. I like
Yeah,
this one.
ports and remasters count, but not a full-scale remake.
Okay. Okay.
So, and no, he is absolutely not curious how many times John has bought FF7, or I'm not sure. I think he
Literally,
probably means
no one
FF6.
wants to
I
know
think
how
he-
many times
yeah.
John has bought Final
We're,
He probably meant to say Final Fantasy VI.
yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
we don't care. So yeah, I guess game or series. What have you bought the most times?
Who's going first?
Finn's raising his hand.
Finn, go
got his
ahead.
hand up,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Finn's got
They
dibs.
might have said they don't care about how many times John has, but I have purchased Final Fantasy VI on every single platform it has ever been available on,
Jesus.
even the iPad version, which is garbage. But I didn't care because I got to support my 6, and that's just
I
reality.
think that game did just fine. I don't think it needs more support.
It does, because
Okay.
until I get an Octopath styled remake of 6, I will continue to buy it.
I'll jump in. Mine's probably not one game, the Metal Gear Solid series. I bought Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on PS2, the original releases. Then I bought Substance and Subsistence, which were kind of the enhanced editions. Then I bought the PS3 ports. Then I bought the Vita ports. So I guess I've bought all those games 4 times. And if they're ever released on PS4 again, for sure I will buy them a 5th.
John. What do you
Before
got?
I go, just real quick, I want to thank Lervinar, who just subscribed to Twitch Prime. I don't know Lervinar, so it must be a new viewer. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. You know what? It would be Final Fantasy VI, but they haven't released it on enough systems, so I'm going to say Resident Evil 4. Because I've released it on every single fucking platform it's come out on.
I bought RE4 quite a few times.
Yep,
as well.
quite a few times, and I've played it Resident Evil 4 for me by a fucking
Yeah, let
country
me see.
mile.
GameCube, PS2, Steam,
Wii,
PS4,
PS4.
Switch.
PS3 and PS4.
I'm surprised no one said Skyrim.
Switch, no, Resident Evil 4 by far.
I've only
By
bought
f-
Skyrim once.
Yeah.
Reb, what games have you bought a lot?
I mean, I've got a caveat on this. If we're talking about money that has come out of a bank account that I was responsible for, then it's definitely Undertale, because when I was still with my ex, we bought it on my PC, his PC, the PS4, and the Nintendo Switch. So that we had 4 copies of Undertale between the two of us.
Yeah.
For just me, it's probably Stardew Valley, because I have that on Switch, PC, and mobile, and those are all mine. And I've played all of them. I can't get enough of Stardew Valley. I love it so much, and the mobile version's great. So I think Stardew Valley is my actual answer, but Undertale is probably tied or second place, because I think I own 2 copies of that now.
Nice. Yeah.
That's not a lot. I don't have any games that I've bought every.
Is now a good time to tell you I've never played it? Just,
You should.
Undertale?
Yeah, I should probably.
Okay. So my rule
Oh, I
about
thought you meant
Undertale, it's
Stardew.
1, don't read anything on the internet about it. Just if you
Okay.
haven't, if you have already, like
Okay.
just play it, just go in blind, don't even mess with it. And 2, if you don't like it in like the first couple hours, it's
You can quit.
fine. Like you
Okay.
can let it go. You're either going to really be charmed by it, or you're going to be like, yeah, it's not for me, and that's fine.
Okay. I'll just go now that I've butted in to ask you questions and derailed.
I'll talk about Undertale as much as they'll talk about Final Fantasy. That's fine.
I have bought in the original Donkey Kong on a lot of platforms.
That's an answer I wasn't expecting from Zach.
Yeah, I definitely have it on Switch, and I definitely have it on Wii U. And I think I have it on Wii, which isn't that many times, 2 or 3 times. I have, and then of course a version of it exists within DK64. So yeah, I like that game. That's like one of my favorite games of all time, probably.
I'm actually floored by this. I wasn't expecting this at all from Zach. That's interesting.
Old Nintendo games, man.
Huh?
I like
yeah,
them.
no. And yet you won't play Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI, Zach. It just fucking blows my mind.
I don't want to listen, John. I'm a tired man. I don't have time for long games anymore.
It just blows my mind. Chrono Trigger's a 20-hour game, which is not long,
but
the
greatest.
But it's
Undertale
20 hours.
15
Undertale
even,
is like
15.
10 hours or less.
Like I gotta do like 8 or less, guy. Like,
I mean,
Actually, I don't even know if it's 10. Undertale's about 10 if you go for the full ending.
Yeah, Undertale is
Alright.
shorter
Yeah.
than 10 even.
Yeah,
maybe.
you're
It's-
fine.
Matt, are there any games you've been buying a lot, or not? You know, what are you spending your money on?
I'm old, so I've bought Galaga at least 2 dozen times.
What an
over
answer!
there.
That's so great. Galaga rules.
That is fantastic.
Oh
Galaga
man,
does
best
rule.
answer.
You're right. Galaga does
Man.
rule, and I'll buy it again. I'll
I'll
buy it right now. Tell me where I can buy it. I'll buy it. Let's go.
I'll dismiss your bad opinions about Tom Nook for that. That's great.
Tom Nook would play Galaga.
I think we know Matt's money all goes to the show.
Tom Nook would take your money for a version of Galaga in Animal Crossing, Matt.
all right.
Oh man, if I could have a Galaga machine in my house in Animal Crossing, holy shit! I would never leave that game.
That ends up being how Nintendo releases Super Nintendo Virtual Console games.
Oh
And
my
you can-
god. Playing Final Fantasy VI on a machine
I
in your
Animal
house in
Crossing.
Animal
To pay, you have to
Anyway,
wait
hey,
for
play it.
Tom Nook.
Hey, you know what?
Would
Any
that
way you
get
can get
Finn
it.
to play Animal Crossing if that was the only way to do it?
I would become a huge Animal Crossing fan because that's the love of Final Fantasy VI.
I would become the biggest Animal Crossing fan of all time, Reb. Like that would be my
I
second
would.
favorite game.
Really quick before we go to another person here, I just want to say, Matty, who's on the show, but not tonight. His game is Minority Report for the
Game Boy Advance.
That
for the
is
Game Boy
true.
Advance. He bought 30 copies because he was really hoping he could make it on NPD's list for 1 month.
Are you
he didn't-
shitting
What?
me?
No, he bought.
When
he
was
bought
this?
30. I
Before
don't know,
your
a year
time,
ago?
Reb. Before your time.
Yeah,
a
about
while
a year
ago.
ago.
I still can't get over like one of my first it wasn't even a conversation. One of my first exposures to Matt Piscatella was when it was like shortly after I got hired or something, and when I was first like covering NPD results, and he was like tweeting about random old games, like best-selling PS1 games or something from this last month, and one of them was like Chrono Cross, and it had sold like 5 copies or something stupid, and we're all like, why, how? And you were talking about how sometimes people just find dusty versions of it in shelves somewhere and put
Yep.
them up because what else do you do with them?
Yeah, and when Toys R Us was closing there for a few months, we were seeing a lot of units of really old games that just must have been tucked in some corner of the TRU.
We actually have people in chat who are new to the podcast, but well, at least new in the sense that this happened before their time, Zach. When Maddie bought all his copies
Yeah.
of Minority Report.
I was also new to the podcast, and I've been on here. Is it almost a year and a half now?
Year and a half, almost. Yeah.
And I didn't know Matty that well either, and then I just came to the DM, and he's like, "Well, I got 30 copies. I hope that's enough."
I remember that.
It wasn't.
And Zach, why don't you tell the chat why he did that?
It was for NPD, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. He wanted to be the #1 game on the Game Boy Advance for that month, and I don't
And
think
it didn't
he was.
work. It didn't work.
Which is
Didn't work.
yeah.
It's crazy there was multiple Game Boy Advance games selling more than 30 copies.
Yeah.
One of the other assholes in this chat went out and bought 30 copies of Real Land 4.
A fucking.
In my head, I want to say he
forgot.
bought them all from the same retailer.
The same store.
retailer.
No, you remember
Yeah,
they were bartering on Twitter, Zach, the night of the podcast. You remember that?
Oh,
They were like, "Come
no.
on by and pick them up." Like it was fucking great.
Incredible.
It was outstanding.
Yeah, I will have him find the tweets and put them out later for people to.
Oh
see.
please, that'd
Yeah,
be
it's-
fantastic.
It was sublime. Who hasn't gone? I'm so sorry. I derailed really quick. I just
I think
love that
Brandon hasn't
story.
gone.
Yeah.
Brandon, what game have you bought a lot of copies for?
It's FF7. 7 times to be
Okay.
exact.
Well,
Oh,
perfect.
nice.
Perfect. Don't ever buy another one. Keep it perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Basically, yeah. Well, the remake counts,
The-
right?
Does the
Yeah.
remake count?
I don't know.
No.
No, the remake doesn't
Remake
count.
didn't
Criteria,
count.
but it basically counts.
I don't think it should count.
Yeah, I've got the greatest hits version with the green label, the black label version.
I don't have the
PS1
black
classic.
label version, unfortunately.
Oh man. Yeah, I've got a lot of copies of that too.
So the because you guys want to know, the #1 selling game of May 2019 on the Game Boy Advance was Driver.
Driver? What the fuck is Driver?
You are the wheelman.
I was hoping it'd be Golden Sun or something. I got so excited.
I was
Yeah, the
hoping you'd-
#1 selling game on Dreamcast was Sega Marine Fishing.
I love that you guys still track this.
May
No,
is
fuck
a
it.
very good
Fuck
fishing.
it, Matt. Keep it
It's
going. What
great.
else is there? Matt,
Yeah,
what
keep
else
it
is there?
coming,
Keep
please.
it going, man.
Oh, give me a platform. Give me a platform.
N64.
N64.
All right, N64. The #1 selling game of May 2019 on the Nintendo 64, Mission Impossible.
Oh no! That game is
What? All right,
bad.
Matt, what is the oldest console you track?
Well, we go 3DO.
Count
Green
those out,
3DO?
Yeah,
Matt. Is it Twisted?
3DO did not have any sales in the
Oh,
market.
that's a shame.
Oh, poor thing.
All right, what about the CDI Phillips?
Well, so we bucket all those in a group called multiple VG platforms from prior to '95. The value game bundle.
What the fuck is the value? That's the predecessor to the orange box.
Sorry, what console
Yeah.
is that on?
Well, it's in the old console bucket for things prior to like the 3DO.
Oh, there's
so,
no way this is gonna come up with anything on
This
Google.
This is
Sega Saturn.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
No.
it's pretty wild.
I'm not gonna find out what that was.
What's Sega Saturn's top? Or is that in the bucket?
Sega Saturn had 0 sales last
Zero
month,
sales.
but on the
Nothing.
on the PlayStation Portable, Dissidia 12 Duodecim Final
Duodecim.
Fantasy.
Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt.
Of course you know what that is.
Of course I
How's that?
know what it is.
#1, 2
This
with
isn't-
the brackets.
This isn't that old, but how's the Wii U doing this month?
Probably worse than the 3DO.
Let's Dance is the top seller.
Of course.
I mean, yeah.
Just
So
Dance.
actually, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild,
Oh,
was-
okay.
Nah, no surprise there.
That tracks.
Smash Brothers, and Paper Mario Color Splash.
Ooh,
number
good
3.
choices.
Oh,
Good
okay.
choices.
So a quick thing, and I guess we probably wouldn't see it until next month, but when Xbox adds a bunch of games to their back compat, do you see a bunch of that stuff trend on like the original Xbox? Like,
Oh yeah.
We'll okay.
We'll see. We'll definitely see those things pop. I mean, one month when they added Call of Duty, I forget which one. One of the 360 Call of Duties to backwards compat, it actually got up into the top 20 again.
I think that was that Black Ops 2, I think?
or was it Modern
Uh,
Warfare
For
2?
Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that popped back up. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see actual hits for both physical and digital sales when those things hit back compat. It matters. It actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
So let's. I don't want to get too. That was hilarious, though. Jeff, what's our next question?
Well, we're reaching the end of our journey, so
Can we do
We got to do the.
We
gotta
got
do
the Kit Kat.
the Kit Kat question.
yeah,
That's a good one to
that
end
is the
on.
one. I was saving that for the end because this is a disaster of a question. This is from our good friend Steven Spawn. He said, "What is your favorite Kit Kat bar? If you say anything other than white chocolate, you're wrong.
White chocolate is
Um,
fucking trash.
What are the types
White chocolate
of,
is fine, but it's not chocolate. So
besides the two flavors? What flavors are there?
There's green
Oh,
tea.
you have not lived, Zach.
There's green tea,
Yeah.
Zach.
So my friend sent me a orange Kit Kat bar from the Philippines. He mailed it to me. It was so melted when I got it, but it was still so fucking delicious. So orange Kit Kat bar.
That's
gets my
fucking
vote.
gross. Orange Kit Kat bar?
Orange and chocolate are
Is that
so good
really a
together.
thing?
man.
No, they're not.
Yes.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
All right.
I mean, plain Kit Kat is the good.
The answer is the chocolate banana flavor.
That's a thing.
It is.
Is it like banana crisps in there, or like what? How do they get?
There's no such thing as banana Kit Kat. Come on, that's propaganda.
and-
Okay, listen,
John.
guys. there are Japanese Kit Kat flavors. There are like a gajillion of them, and
Oh,
they're
no.
so good. And let me tell you, the Japanese Kit Kat flavors, like even just the regular Japanese chocolate Kit Kats, are so much better than the stupid American ones. Like they are so fucking good. There's this little store. There's a little store in Kansas City, and it's like a little Japanese store. It's like at the River Market or something, and I don't remember what it's called, but like it's got a little subtitle. It's called Cozy Gifts for the Home or something. And they sell Japanese Kit Kats and they rotate their flavors constantly. And I'm like always trying them. So like the matcha Kit Kats are amazing. I've had like this autumn chestnut one that's just fantastic. I had something that was like cherry blossom and nuts, and it was really, really good.
Can't we just have a regular fucking Kit Kat bar?
Why the fuck do we need a regular fucking Kit Kat, John?
Whoa, jeez, Reb.
You're just not adventurous enough.
I'm not adventurous enough.
You're so busy playing Final Fantasy VII over and over again that you're
Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, no, that's
Final
me.
Fantasy whatever.
Final Fantasy
Put a
VI.
number on the end, and it's the video game you're playing.
Look. The only fucking Kit Kat bar is the original Kit Kat bar. It's a fucking Kit Kat bar. It's got chocolate on the no. Although I did
John,
see somebody in chat.
I'm bringing you Kit Kat bars, and you're gonna be so happy. This is gonna be like mobile games. You're gonna lose a bet to me here soon.
Wait, have you ever had the British version of the regular Kit Kat bar? Because it is the far superior regular Kit Kat bar.
What makes it superior? What's so big about the British version? I don't get it.
It's just different.
Less sugar, higher cocoa content. It's actually chocolatier.
Don't they call it a biscuit over there? A Kit Kat biscuit?
A Kit Kat bar. Nope, it's a Kit Kat bar.
Biscuits and cookies are interchangeable, not biscuits and bars.
I'm not the
John.
fucking British expert. Like I don't know any. I don't know.
Yeah, this was actually brought to my attention recently. The chocolate that they use, there's very different kinds of chocolate, and the chocolate there is better than the trash that we get. We get the bad stuff.
I saw somebody in chat say that there was a salted caramel Kit Kat bar. Now
absolutely.
I would be willing to fuck around with. I'm okay with that.
What the Take 5 is a good candy bar.
What's a Take 5?
Any relation to Take 2?
What the hell is a cat?
Yeah, it's actually yep. So Take 5, if memory serves,
is Strauss Zelnick promoting Kit Kats?
This is like in my head. I'm trying to remember what's in there. I think there's caramel, there's pretzel, and there's peanut butter, and there's chocolate. I think that Reese. Yeah, I think Reese. Technically, it's under the umbrella of Reese.
Reese's? Reese's. It's not Reese's, Zach. It's Reese's.
All right, cop.
Caramel, you cop.
But yeah, they're also good. What? Swedish Fish. Who here is gonna tell me Swedish Fish aren't good? Candy?
They're disgusting. Swedish Fish are nasty. Fucking
no
trash.
good. No good.
Matt,
they're terrible. No.
They're
Matt, are you and I the only ones here who are gonna defend Swedish Fish?
Finally, Reb has a good candy opinion.
Yeah, man, they're the best movie theater. They're the best movie theater candy.
Bull fucking shit. Nestle Crunch Bites are the best movie theater candy.
Enjoy your chocolatey fingers, John.
I will. I'll lick them fucking clean too, Zach. I'll be happy doing it.
The best movie theater candy is no candy because no one wants to hear you fucking crunching on shit.
I will
trying to watch their movie.
Guess what? When I pay $11, I will make such noises like what?
You fucking A right, Zach. You
candy for a movie theater is Twizzlers, and if you say Red Vines, you're wrong because I tried those ones and they're disgusting.
Finn,
they're so chalky.
Here's the thing though, and I'm gonna blow your fucking mind with this shit. It doesn't matter if it's a Twizzler or a Red Vine; they're all trash. They're trash. Twizzlers are trash.
Twizzlers suck.
Thank you, Reb. Twizzlers are fucking horrid garbage.
Mattis is dying.
Oh, credibility.
Matt, if you want to cut in on this, go ahead, man. Like, please drop a spicy take.
Red Vines are superior to Twizzlers.
Whoa, that like you just pissed off all the Twizzler purists out there.
Twizzlers
you are literally the only person, man. Matt, you're the only person who I have ever heard say Red Vine is superior to a Twizzler. Whoa!
After 3 years, we finally drove Matt.
We finally broke him. We finally broke Matt.
Oh.
Matt Piscatella's had enough. We finally did it.
Oh, Zach, I don't know. Do you want to round this shit show up?
Get out of the business, Matt.
Come back, Matt.
Come back eating a Red Vine. We're in.
I bet is he getting a Red Vine? Is that what he's doing?
Is he actually getting a Red Vine?
Listen.
No.
Listen, before we go, it's the end of the week, and the centrist has logged on, and he's here to tell you, let's all come together for one thing, and that one thing is black licorice is not good.
It's not good at all.
It's not good.
Very not
It's
good.
not. No.
God damn it, Matt! I'm trying to make it easy.
Good. You ever
There's-
had that?
There's always a fucking outlier.
Matt, what
A
don't you
little-
like? Tell us what you don't
Yeah.
like.
I mean, look at me. I like a lot.
Don't dump on yourself like that, Matt.
Okay, but like, what's the one candy bar you won't ever reach for though? Is it like like her chocolate bars? They're not very good. They're waxy as shit, right? Like, come on, give me one that's bad. The Harry Potter jelly beans. They're
Oh, I was
really
gonna say
bad.
those are trash, dude. The
Yeah.
birds, the every flavor jelly beans, whatever they are,
Jolly
they're garbage.
Ranchers are bullshit. Jolly Ranchers are disgusting.
They are
They're
trash.
Okay.
No,
Airheads,
no, he's right.
Airheads into the
They're bad.
toilet.
Airheads
They're
are
bad.
trash. Airheads are bad. Yep. Cotton candy is shit.
It is
Oh,
clear there will never. It's clear that there will never be unity here. Because when I hear someone say Jolly Ranchers aren't good, that's an affront.
Now and
to
later's.
me.
Now and later's are garbage. Now and later's are
Everything
straight
out of
trash.
John's mouth makes me want to reach through the internet and just like.
No,
choke
I'm
slam him.
upset.
You'll get your fucking. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Finn. At PAX West, I'm gonna march right up to you and like get an inch away from your face and be like, "Now and later's are fucking trash, son. Now
Whoa,
what?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now
You know
what?
I'm
What's
gonna
wrong
do?
with now and later's?
Now and later's are garbage."
No.
I love how Brandon. All of a sudden, Brandon's been zoned. All of a sudden, he's like, "Who the fuck is dissing now and later's? Who the fuck is dissing now and later's?
I've never. You're the first person I've ever heard have any ill will against now and later.
They're terrible. They're awful.
No, they're
John,
great.
No,
Show,
they taste
John
like-
doesn't have a single good opinion about candy.
They're
now-
bad for about
now and
5
later-
seconds, and then they start getting soft, and they're great.
No, a now and later is basically it's like something that was left over at a construction site, and
They're not
somebody.
as good as Starburst. I'll give you that.
John, I'm gonna bring you all the best Kit Kats the next time I see you. And see, my goal, John, I think you have bad opinions. Let me just be straightforward about that. But my goal is not to shit on you for your bad opinions.
Really?
My goal is to change your bad opinions into good opinions and give you positive experiences along the way, like I did with mobile games.
That's what good friends do.
That's right. So
Alright,
I'm gonna
make
bring
friends
you
with
some,
broken
I'm gonna bring you the best fucking Kit Kats next time I see you, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this? This is stupid. Why do I need this?" And then you're gonna eat one, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing. I can't believe I never tried this before." And you're gonna be really happy, and you're gonna have found something new that you love.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Can I?
Here's what we're gonna
Can
do. Go ahead, please. No, Zach. Go
I
ahead.
love- I
No,
love
no.
you so
just
much.
want to go to bed, John.
Okay, all right. Before we wrap it
Zach
up,
is
Zach.
tired.
Before we wrap it up, let's do this. We'll be at PAX West. If Reb supplies the exotic candy, I will
I don't know
stream.
if I'm coming.
If you come, if you're able to come, and you bring the exotic candies, I will live stream myself eating them, and I will review
Excellent.
each one on the spot.
Okay.
We'll talk about the mouthfeel. We'll talk about the bouquet, the notes. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
And,
Channel.
Finn.
Oh,
Finn's
Finn,
mic died
no.
again.
yeah.
All right.
It's the webcam's not. No, your mic's fine. Finn, your mic's fine. You're just not talking loud enough for your webcam to pick you up. So say it again, but shout.
Say it again.
Well,
I had a great point in chat. We should submit a PAX West panel where we have this discussion and debate it live, and have the candy on stage and do live taste tests.
Puppet Salt 2 in chat says, "Okay, can I send some candies for John to eat?" Yeah, send me the fucking candy.
Justin's already trying gamer drinks, isn't he?
yo, that reminds me. This week, I said this before we went live. I had all 4 game fuels this week, and like I wanted to hate them, and they were all fine.
That's
like,
because you're a true gamer, Zach.
Yeah, like I mean, like no, I will give you the definitive ranking is blue, red,
Blue's always the
yellow. Yeah, blue, red, yellow, green. Green is too samey for the regular. The tactile
Okay.
grip, I don't like it, but the resealable it can hang out. All right,
So-
Jeff, please send me to bed.
Zach, did you feel your KD ratio rising with every sip that you took? Do you feel like it increased your reaction time? Like, is this gonna be a boon for you for when Gears 5 drops?
No, I didn't feel enhanced. I just felt like I needed to brush my teeth.
All right, let's
That's it.
bring this trash fire home.
But before we go, I'll actually let Zach wrap it up. I just want to say we didn't get to all the questions, but we truly appreciate everyone who submitted questions, either in the chat or tweeting to us, or replying to the tweets from the official account.
This
I do have them saved here. I
Okay.
would love to do this again. I think
we're gonna do this again. We're absolutely
So,
going to do this.
keep sending us your questions. We will get to them eventually. We'll try to make sure we take questions from different people each time so that we're giving everyone a little bit of love. But thank you again.
Yeah.
And
before
we
to send us.
really quick, Zach, just it's going to take 10 seconds before we go real quick. I just want to say thank you to everybody in chat and on Twitter and on this podcast who kept my spirits up the past week. Last week I tweeted out some Call of Duty opinions, and my mentions were a dumpster fire for about 5 days. And I had a lot of people right here in the DMs and a lot of people who were in chat sending me DMs and kind of keeping my spirits up. And podcasting with everybody here, this is my family and my closest friends on earth. And I love everybody here, and I just want everybody to know how much I appreciate them. This is exactly what I needed to kind of bring me back after kind of a shitty 5 days. So thank you to everybody. Much appreciated.
And to echo John's sentiment, it's been a long weekend, and make sure if you're you have the ability to take time to recover, do that. Play games with friends. Enjoy some of your favorite shows, relax, do what you need to do. Have a good, safe weekend. Special shouts out to Matt. Please keep coming and enduring our bullshit, because we really appreciate your insight, and you're a fun guy to hang out with, and we really appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun for 2 years and some, and let's keep it rocking and rolling. I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody, have a good, safe weekend, and we'll see you next week.
And don't forget, it's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. See you later.